And Saka, he just might be England's secret weapon. If England play the right attacking lineup that really plays to this team's strengths, the kinds of characteristics that a Saka can bring, a Sancho can bring, a Grealish can bring, can cause some serious issues to Portugal and to Germany. So, 2 games, 2 breaks. England's Euros has not popped off so far. And here comes the game against the Czech Republic. And you see, here's the thing. Let's get things real. Let's take things right down to the streets. Okay, let's take this right down to the streets. England have to decide what you want to be. Do you want to win this competition? And do you see yourself as favorites? If you feel strongly you want to win this competition, you aim to top this group, and you have faith that you can beat most likely either Portugal or Germany, who we assume are going to finish third in our Group F. You've got to have that belief. But if you don't believe that you're favorites, and you feel that you're one of the smaller teams, then I would maybe advise that, finishing second wouldn't be too bad. Maybe these 2 games, breaking it to have not been too bad. Drawing against Scotland is not too bad. You finish second, then you face, I think, a team from Group E, and then thus you can have like a good path towards the semis. But you have to decide what you want to be. You see, teams that have football history and football heritage and believe in themselves, whether it's Germany, Italy, or so forth, they're ready to face anybody. Those big teams are like, no, we're not here to avoid anyone. We're here to face anybody. So England have to decide that, because for me, England have to aim to win this group. Because you have to go into the knockout round with a winning mentality. That's what you have to have. Because if you don't have that ruthless winning mentality, karma will hit you and you'll get screwed up. That's just how things work. But with tonight's game, before just talking about beyond of who they could face in Group F, but for tonight's game, as I said again, obviously Mount is a miss. Because Mount is one of England's better players, But Mount isn't England's best player. So missing Mount is a hindrance because of the quality he brings, because he is a good quality player. But missing Mount isn't the end of the world because he isn't a crucial player, And that's the weird thing, I actually don't know who England's crucial player is, because I don't think that they've been given to us. And maybe we may see who England's crucial player is, because from these 2 games, I can't tell you that, if England don't have that dude, I don't know how they're going to roll. Because, you look at Italy. Jorginho is very important to what Italy try and do. He's really important. You look at the Netherlands, Ronaldo, and you'll see maybe Dumfries are both really important for what Netherlands are trying to do. For France, we already know it's freaking Kante. For Portugal, you might argue it's actually probably William Carvalho. For Germany, probably Joshua Kimmich, who can play right back, central midfielder, and is one of the best passers of the ball at these Euros. But for England, I don't know who their important player is, because they ain't Sterling. So, but I think, that's just maybe, I think their most important player could be Sancho, or it could be Saka. So this could present an opportunity for us to see an England that we haven't seen in these 2 games. And Southgate may be forced now bringing guys who can actually give England a spark, because they've not had a spark. Because obviously the word that we're hearing is Saka could start. So you could see Saka starting in place of Foden, and you could see Grealish also starting as well. You see, first of all, let's go to Sancho, then I'll go to Saka. See, for me, Sancho is a guy who, if you give him the license to express himself, he's free, the freedom for him to get in the ball and really express himself and do his thing. Sancho just might be the most skillful player in this England team in terms of a player who has the most ability on the ball, who can bring the most swagger and dynamism to the team, is probably Sancho, because this is a guy who I've been seeing for Dortmund, and I've said it for the last year or so that he's actually one of my favorite players. Based on how he plays, the kinds of things that he can do, how he thinks psychologically, just his footballing mentality, I'm like, no, this is one of my favorite guys to watch. And England have this dude. England have a dude who's one of my favorite players to watch, young players to watch, and they have this dude, and he's not played a single minute. But my thing is that it's not only about bringing Sancho into the team, is what instructions do you give him? Because there's one thing bringing Sancho into the team and saying, stay out wide, keep it simple, look for the easy pass, don't be too risky, keep it very safe, and so forth. Or there's another thing where you put Sancho in there as like, bro, interpret, express yourself, play football, feel the game. I trust you. Really try to create, and I'm giving you the confidence and the license to say, I trust you to try and create for this team. Because it's all a mentality thing, because in Dortmund, you can see the freedom he has and the freedom he has to express himself and really be a creative sergeant for that team. But if, for England, he isn't given that license and he is maybe pressured to, come on, give the ball here, play the simple pass here, don't dribble, don't do too many skills, don't try and lose the ball too much, don't try and make things happen, then it's a very different player that you'll be seeing. So trust me, because sometimes whenever they say, oh my gosh, well, he was so good for here, it's not so good for here, you have to also look at what instructions is he giving. That's very key. But Sancho is a guy that can change things. I think, look, Grealish is a guy who, again, there is a creative bone in his body, and he's a guy who is trying to look for those balls into the pockets. But again, it's about the instructions you give him and how much freedom England give him to really try to say, okay, you know what? Get on the ball, make things happen. You don't have to make the easy pass. Carry the ball. It's fine if you lose it, but try and interpret, try and pop balls in and try and look for those through balls, because the issue with England is, for this past 2 games, it's very flat. I'm not seeing diagonals. I'm not seeing guys take guys on. I'm not seeing little passes, because again, I look at England and then I compare it to what I see from Italy and what I see from the Netherlands. But even just Italy have just been one of the most impressive teams, and the Netherlands, and just look at how they pass the ball, the choices they make when they pass, how many times they do one touch, the movement. That's the key thing, is the movement. When you look at Italy and Netherlands, they are guys that are just making interesting movements. They're not rigid. They're moving all around, because then it's harder for the defenses to now mark them, and it gives the guy on the ball more interesting choices. If when you have the ball, hey, right back, left back, striker, there's like, but you have the guy who, okay, but I'm coming in short. I'm left back, but I'm actually coming in behind here. Okay, I am pulling in here. You have more interesting choices to now try and create something a lot more interesting, and actually now shift the opposition's defense a lot more. Saka, maybe I've just been lucky, but every game I have seen of Saka, he has been the best player on the pitch. Because Saka is a guy who he goes straight. He goes straight. Because you see, Foden is a quality player, but he will sort of go to the side and then go in like that. See, Mount is a guy who he'll always try and pass the ball forward, but he won't carry the ball, but he'll move the ball forward. Foden is a guy who he'll go in, but he'll try to go to the side, go to the side. Saka is a guy who goes straight. So when he gets the ball, his head is up. How can I cleverly, intelligently just try and maneuver my way through this traffic and try to just get into that little spot and thread that eye of the needle to try and get into the 18-yard box and try and produce a ball. And Saka, he just might be England's secret weapon. He just might be. But again, the manager has got to give him the license to say, Saka, carry that ball, move that ball forward. I trust you to move the ball forward. You don't have to play the easy pass. So it's called the manager is a really, really, really big thing as to how a player will play. And if England beat Czech Republic and they end up topping the group, and they most likely face, I believe, either Germany or a Portugal. Maybe Portugal, who knows, Germany or Portugal. England can beat Portugal and they can beat Germany. They can't beat France. Like now, that's not, they can't beat France. They can beat England. Right, England can beat Germany or Portugal. They can. But they need the right lineup and the right personnel. Because England's defense is still solid. It's kind of good, but it's still pretty solid. The midfield is functional. You don't need, see, for me, you don't need a superb midfield. You just need a midfield that is functional. that just functions, that just knows how to recycle and use the ball. Then you can guess your attackers maybe come in and just press. But the secret, see, if Southgate picks a brick lineup, they're getting touched by either Germany or Portugal. Specifically, if Germany show up the way they showed up against Portugal, they're getting touched. But if England play the right attacking lineup that really plays to this team's strengths, the kinds of characteristics that a Saka can bring, a Sancho can bring, a Grealish can bring, can cause some serious issues to Portugal and to Germany. But you have to pick the right personnel. And my fear is, if England top the group and they end up getting Portugal or Germany, Southgate will resort to type. And we'll see Rashford, we'll see Sterling, we'll see Kane, we'll see Foden. And then if you pick that lineup there, I just think that the lineup I've seen in these two games cannot bring what a Grealish can give you, a Sancho can give you, a Saka can give you, which is just, you're thinking alternatively. You're thinking alternatively and you're making other footballing choices that other guys don't see. Because it's too many. That's what I've been looking at all of the debates and everything. And there's a constant theme. Safe. You look at Italy and Netherlands. You're seeing diagonals, one-twos, balls over the top. It's creative passes that isn't the safe option. It's an alternative option, and it's a much more bolder option. So we'll see what England can do. But for England, if they want to win this competition, and they're serious about winning this competition, they have to win this game. They have to play well, and they have to carry in a good quality performance now going into a knockout round game that could be a tough cookie if they do end up top in this group now. Guys, remember, man, like that vid, subscribe, comments below, stay black. One love.